Thomas Nast by Max Rubin Tolles. Thomas Nast was the master cartoonist of the Civil War. With his piercing images, he influenced the country during the war in a way rivaling Abraham Lincoln. Today I will highlight a few of the many amazing feats of Nast, enemy of corruption and quite possibly savior of the Union. Let's rewind to an early time in the Civil War, 1863. Thomas Nast was a young man employed in an illustrated newspaper, Harper's Weekly, that despite its popularity in both the North and South sympathized with the Union. At that point in the war, things weren't going so well for the Union. In Virginia, the South dominated. Due to the many Union defeats and losses of troops, there was a high rate of desertion and a low rate of new recruits. So in December, Nast created a cartoon that both had the Christmas spirit and the war spirit. It pictured Santa Claus handing out gifts and toys to the good little boys of the Union. The cartoon provided enough encouragement to the North and anger to the South that it provoked a proclamation from Abraham Lincoln himself, stating that Nast was the Union's best recruiting sergeant. In 1864, the Union cause had again sunk to a low level. In the East, there were many stalemates in the battle skirmishes between Grant and Lee. Lincoln was being looked at as a fool, and to make matters worse, his term was almost over. An opponent, former Union General George B. McClellan, was rising with ideas of compromise with the South, giving them the right to secession. As you may well know, Lincoln was president for 2 terms, but his victory didn't just happen. Once again, Thomas Nast came to the rescue. In Harper's Weekly, an image under his name was published, picturing a wounded Union soldier reluctantly shaking hands with a smug Confederate. A spark of fight was ignited in the war-weary Union. Nast had struck again. Later that year, the war was coming to a close. The Union, like a constrictor, had wrapped its way around the starving South, blockading all supplies. Sherman was leaving a trail of destruction to the sea in order to come reinforce Grant at Petersburg. You might think Nast would have been self-satisfied and craving vengeance. Instead, he had an idea of welcoming the South with open arms. In a Christmas cartoon, he showed the South being led into a Christmas dinner with the Union and predicted the surrendering of Lee to Grant in months in advance. Nast's ideas were taken to heart, as the South later received respect in its dignified surrender. After the Civil War, Nast's work was not over. In New York, trouble was brewing. Tweed and his gang had a corrupt grip on the city's government. William Tweed would increase the sum of money owed to anyone involved in the ring. Thomas Nast was not happy with the fraudulence. He created several pictures tearing at the ring. Out of fear of the images, Tweed offered a $100,000 bribe to Nast to discontinue the cartoons. Nast feigned interest, eventually bargaining the price up to 5 times the original before stating, "Well, I don't think I'll do it. I made up my mind not long ago to put some of those fellows behind the bar." Nast was a pioneer of the political cartoon, and his prowess is unchallenged. He claimed mastery in bending opinions and feelings to his will. Nast, with a pencil, wrote history.